I killed my sister with my bare hands. Not in the heat of some blind rage, but in the cold calculus of a debt unpaid. A betrayal so rotten it festered for a decade. She gasped her last breath in the penthouse we'd grown up in, her manicured nails clawing at my wrist, eyes wide with the shock of realization, not that I was doing it, but that I'd planned it this way all along. And as the light faded from those ice-blue eyes, the ones that had always mocked me from across the dinner table, I whispered back the words she'd hissed to her lover 10 years earlier. I hope you crash, Juliet, so I can finally breathe without your shadow choking me. It started on a rain-slicked night in Manhattan, the kind where the city feels like it's drowning in its own ambition. I was 22, fresh out of Yale with a trust fund that could buy half of Brooklyn and a law degree that felt like a noose disguised as a diploma. Our father,
Victor Hale,
had built Hale Enterprises from a single brownstone real estate flip into a conglomerate that owned skyscrapers, media outlets, and enough politicians to swing an election. He was the king of New York, ruthless in boardrooms and tender in ways that left scars, always promising the world to his daughters, but delivering it unevenly. My sister, Isabella, got the charm, the effortless grace, the way doors opened without her knocking. I got the grit, the late nights poring over contracts, the whispers that I was the smart one, but not the pretty one. That night, I was driving home from a gala at the Met, the kind where champagne flows like excuses and everyone pretends they're not circling each other like sharks. My Maserati purred through the Holland Tunnel, wipers slapping against the downpour, when my phone buzzed with Isabella's name. She was calling from the Hamptons, her voice slurred with vodka and venom. Juliet, you bitch. You stole my spotlight again. Dad's toasting you like you're the heir apparent. When are you gonna crash and burn so I can stop pretending to care? I laughed it off, sisters, right? But the line crackled. And then I heard him. Marcus. Her on again. Off again. The Wall Street wolf with a penthouse and a penchant for insider tips. Tell her to wrap her car around a pole.
Babe.
Insurance'll cover it. And Vic'll finally see you're the one who deserves the keys to the kingdom. They didn't know the call hadn't dropped. I sat there in the tunnel's fluorescent hell. Engine idling. Rain hammering the roof like accusations.
Crash.
Money. My money. The inheritance Dad had earmarked for me in whispers. The shares in Hale that would make me untouchable. Isabella. My flesh and blood. Wishing me into a ditch for a payout. I didn't confront her then.
No.
That would have been too clean. Too American dream tidy. Instead, I filed it away, a splinter under my nail, waiting for infection. The next morning, over brunch at Le Pain Quotidien in Soho, avocado toast and oat milk lattes masking the rot, I watched her across the table, golden hair catching the light, laughing about some yacht party. She was 24, engaged to Marcus by then, her life a highlight reel of brunches and bridezillas. I smiled, clinked glasses, and said, to family, may we never let each other down, but she had already. 2 weeks later, the scandal hit like a freight train. Hale Enterprises was bleeding, millions siphoned through shell companies. Audits screaming fraud. The feds raided our offices on Fifth Avenue, suits swarming like locusts. Dad's face on every news channel, betrayal from within, and the finger pointed straight at me. I remembered the night before the raid. Isabella slipping into my office after hours, her heels clicking like clockwork. Jules, I need a favor. Big one. Her eyes darted. mascara smudged from whatever coke-fueled bender she'd ridden in on. Marcus had cooked the books, embezzlement on a scale that could topple empires, to fund his crypto Ponzi. But the trails led to my login, my approvals, because I'd signed off on a dummy merger months back. Blind trust in her research. Fix it, she begged, shoving a USB drive into my hand. Backdate the files. Say it was a vendor error. Dad'll believe you, he always does. I did it. Not for her. Not really. For the myth of us. The Hale sisters unbreakable. I buried the evidence. Took the heat when the auditors came calling. Dad's disappointment was a gut punch. Juliet, how could you? After everything? He suspended me, froze my assets, shipped me to a rehab in the Berkshires for stress management. Isabella? She played the victim. Tear-streaked interviews about her devastated family, all while pocketing the bonuses Marcus funneled her way. Prison wasn't the slammer you'd see on Netflix, no orange jumpsuits. Just a white-collar stint in Alderson, West Virginia. 2 years of recycled air and therapy circles where trust fund crooks swapped war stories. I read Sun Tzu by fluorescent light. Learned the art of the long con from inmates who'd fleeced banks before breakfast. Isabella visited once. Dripping sympathy. A Birkin bag at her feet like an apology. I'm so sorry, Jules. Marcus and I. We eloped. But Dad's coming around. He'll reinstate you. Liar. I'd hacked her emails from a contraband phone. Easy in a place where guards looked the other way for a carton of Marlboros. She and Marcus were laughing about my timeout, toasting with Dom Perignon to the shares I'd forfeited. Dad was grooming her as heir.
Whispering boardroom secrets over caviar est passé.
When I got out, the world had shifted. Hale was thriving under Isabella's steady hand, Marcus pulling strings from the shadows. I slunk back to New York, a ghost in a one-bedroom in Hell's Kitchen, waitressing at a dive bar to pay rent. But the splinter had become a blade. I started small, anonymous tips to the SEC about Marcus's lingering trades. Nothing stuck, but it itched. Then I went deeper. Cultivating sources, Dad's old driver, a bitter ex-CFO, a hacker kid from Red Hook who owed me from Alderson connections. Revenge isn't a sprint, it's a marathon through moral quicksand. Every step pulls you under, forces choices that echo in the dark. Do I burn the empire Dad built? Or just the rats gnawing at its base? Isabella's wedding was the first real test. Black tie affair at the plaza. A-listers toasting the Hale legacy. I crashed it. Literally. In a borrowed gown from a consignment shop, slipping past security with a forged invite. She spotted me mid-vows, her smile cracking like fine china. Juliet, what the fuck? We fought in the bridal suite. Her veil askew. My fists clenched. You framed me. For him. For money. She laughed. That silvery peal that always disarmed. Framed? You were always so eager to play hero. Jules. Dad needed a scapegoat, and you volunteered. Besides, look at you now, free-falling while I'm flying. I lunged, but she twisted away, calling security. As they dragged me out, past the glittering crowd, I heard her whisper to Marcus. She knows too much. Handle it. Handle it. Like I was a glitch in their code. That night, my Maserati, repossessed but tracked through old plates, met with a fender bender on the FDR. Brake lines cut, just enough to spin me into the guardrail. I walked away with bruises, but the message was clear, back off, or crash for real. That's when the plan crystallized. Not murder, that's sloppy. Leaves DNA and regret. No. Something surgical. American as apple pie and arsenic. Total ruination. I'd dismantle her world brick by brick. Make her beg for the mercy she denied me. First target, Marcus. I seduced him at a charity gala 6 months later. Playing the reformed prodigal. All low-cut Versace and lingering glances.
He bit.
Hard, old habits, I guess. In his Tribeca loft, between silk sheets, he spilled offshore accounts in the Caymans, numbered shells laundering Hale profits through NFTs and green energy scams. I recorded it all, a hidden mic in my necklace. But I didn't go to the feds. Not yet. Instead, I leaked it to Isabella anonymously. A midnight email from a burner. Your husband's a thief. Again. Panic set in. She confronted him, their screams echoing through the vents. I'd bugged the place too. Divorce papers flew. But not before she drained his accounts, leaving him penniless and pissed. Isabella flipped then, her mask slipping in a frantic call to me. Juliet, it's Marcus.
He's
unstable.
Come home.
We need to talk. Home. The penthouse on Park Avenue. All marble and malice. I went. Knife in my purse, not literal, but metaphorical. Dad was there. Frail now. Parkinson's trembling his hands as he gripped a scotch. Girls, enough. Family sticks. But family? That's the lie we tell to sleep at night. Isabella poured wine, her eyes pleading. Jules, I was wrong. About everything. Let me make it right. She did.
In a way.
Transferred shares back. A gesture of reconciliation. Dad beamed. The prodigal's return. But I saw the calculation, the way she watched me like a rival sizing up a mark. Marcus vanished after that. A suicide off the Brooklyn Bridge. Pills and a note blaming the pressure. The note was mine. Forged in a Kinko's in Queens. Cops called it closed. Isabella mourned publicly. Inherited his scraps. I waited. Bided. The blade sharpened. The real work began in the underbelly of the city, where deals are struck in whispers and loyalties just a synonym for leverage. I'd reinvented myself as JJ. Harlan, a ghost consultant for startups in Brooklyn's co-working hives, tech bros with VC dreams and zero street smarts. It paid in crypto, untraceable, and gave me eyes on the financial webs Isabella was spinning. Hale was pivoting to AI ethics consulting, a joke since their data farms scraped privacy like it was confetti. She was the face. All TED Talks and Forbes covers. Empowering women in tech. Empowering.
Right.
While she keynoted in Silicon Valley, I was empowering myself with dirt. My Red Hook hacker, Tommy, tattooed kid with a sociology degree and a grudge against Big Brother, dug into her emails. Buried under cat memes and charity invites, a thread with a fixer named Rocco. Ex-mob muscle turned private security. Juliet's sniffing around. Make sure she stays buried. Buried. The word lodged like shrapnel. Rocco was old-school Italian. Scars from the 80s wars. Now running protection for hedge funds. I met him in a dim cannoli joint in Little Italy. Posing as a mark with a problem X. He bought the story over espresso. His pinky ring glinting. For $5,000.
She's gone.
Quiet. I paid. Then tailed him. Turned out, gone meant a staged overdose in my apartment, fentanyl-laced coke planted in my medicine cabinet. Cops would have loved that. Ex-con with a history. Relapse narrative gift-wrapped. I intercepted it, swapped the baggies for sugar, and let Rocco walk into the trap. His crew roughed me up in an alley off Houston, cracked ribs, split lip, but I had the body cam footage. Time-stamped, uploaded to a dark web drop. Blackmail's an art form. Equal parts patience and poison. I sent Rocco the link with a note. Next time, it's the feds. But hey, want in on something bigger? He flipped faster than a pancake at IHOP, spilling on Isabella's side gigs, bribing regulators for Hale's AI patents, silencing whistleblowers with NDAs and threats. One name stood out, Elena Vasquez, a junior dev who'd uncovered the data rape, Hale scraping mental health forums for ad targeting. Elena vanished after a leave of absence, but Rocco knew. Payout and a one-way to Mexico. I found her in a Juarez motel. Chain-smoking camels. Eyes hollow as the border fence. They said it'd be over. The money. It was supposed to fix everything. We bonded over bad coffee and worse tequila. 2 women chewed up by the machine. She had backups, terabytes of code logs proving Hale's algorithms profiled users by trauma, selling empathy engines to pharma giants. Controversial? Hell, it was a powder keg. Privacy advocates would have rioted. Ethicists would have wept. But dropping it raw would have tanked Dad's legacy too. Moral quicksand again. Do I save the innocent or salt the earth? Elena stayed hidden. I weaponized the data surgically. Leaked snippets to ProPublica. Timed with Isabella's big South by Southwest panel. Hale's hidden harvest. Profiting from pain. The story broke mid-keynote. Her face projected giant on the screen as reporters swarmed. She spun it masterfully. Mischaracterization. We're pioneers. But the stock dipped 8%. Bored whispers turning to shouts. Dad called me that night. Voice a rasp over the line. Juliet. Is this you? God damn it. Girl. We're Hales. We fight dirty. But not like this. Dirty? I echoed, pacing my loft. City lights bleeding through blinds. Like framing your own blood for fraud? Silence. Then a sigh like crumbling concrete.
Isabella.
She was always the fragile one. I thought protecting her meant. Protecting her over me? The words hung. Acidic. He didn't deny it. Hung up with a "we'll talk." Isabella's retaliation was swift. A viper's strike. My consulting gig dried up, clients ghosting, emails bouncing. Tommy got nabbed on a bullshit warrant, cyberstalking charges that screamed setup. I bailed him out, but the message was etched, play nice. Or play alone. I didn't. Escalated. Dug into her foundation. The Isabella Hale Women's Empowerment Fund, tax shelter masquerading as do-goodery. Audits revealed donations funneled to Marcus's old cronies. Ghost charities in the Virgin Islands. I posed as a donor. A faux feminist VC from Austin, schmoozing at her gala in the Guggenheim. Spiraling ramps. Champagne flutes. Her in emerald silk, arm in arm with a senator. We danced, waltz steps laced with subtext. Jules. Truce? For Dad. Your move.
Sister.
I smiled, dipped her low. Truce implies we were at war. This is justice. Her grip tightened, nails digging crescents. Justice? You're unraveling everything. Dad's sick. He needs stability. Stability. The word tasted like lies. Later. In the coat, check. I slipped a USB into her clutch, Elena's full dataset. Labeled your legacy. She found it at dawn. I'm sure. The spiral tightening. The twist came unintended. Dad's will surfaced in a lawyer's office on Wall Street. Mahogany desks and the faint scent of aged bourbon. He was dying faster than we'd admitted. Liver from the scotch. Parkinson's accelerating. Isabella and I sat across from Elias Crow, his shark of an attorney, reading the amendments. To Isabella, 40% of Hale Enterprises. Operational control. My heart stuttered. And me? Elias adjusted his glasses. Juliet, 10%. Advisory role. The rest to charitable trusts. Betrayal. Round 2. She'd charmed him. Played the dutiful daughter, while I rotted. But the kicker, a codicil. An event of Isabella's. Incapacity. Shares revert to Juliet. Incapacity. Vague enough for interpretation. Her eyes met mine. A flicker of fear.
Mine eyes.
That night, alone in the penthouse, Dad asleep upstairs, I poured a scotch.
Neat.
To legacies, I toasted. She clinked. Wary. Jules. Whatever you're planning. I'm not planning, I lied. Smooth as the burn down my throat. But if something happened to you. Dad's wishes. Her laugh was brittle. You wouldn't I?
The splinter was a sword now.
But here's the rub. As we sat there, city humming below, I saw the girl she'd been, pigtailed accomplice in Central Park forts, whispering secrets under covers. Was this revenge? Or reckoning? The line blurred. Rocco called at midnight. Boss lady's got a tail on you. Pro team. Watch your six. I did. Ducked into shadows. Switched cars. Slept with a Glock under my pillow, legal in Jersey, where I'd stashed a safe house. Isabella was flipping again. Allying with old enemies to bury me. The climax loomed. A storm front rolling in from the Atlantic. Dawn broke over the Hudson like a bruise. Purple and swollen. As I slipped out of the city toward the safe house in Asbury Park. Boardwalk ghosts and salt air. The kind of place Bruce Springsteen sang about before the bosses broke the working man's back. It was a nondescript bungalow. Bought cash through a shell LLC. Stocked with burner phones and enough canned goods to outlast a siege. Tommy joined me there. Paroled on technicalities I'd greased. His laptop fortress glowing in the dim kitchen. She's mobilizing, he said. Fingers flying over keys. Hired Voss Security. XSLS. The real psychos. And get this. She's pitching Hale to a Chinese consortium. Full buyout.
Dvebiu.
Your shares? Collateral damage. My shares. The 10% that chain me to the sinking ship. When? Panel next week.
Asemit.
Global stage.
Perfect.
International waters. Literally, yacht parties off the East River. I'd meet an inside woman. Enter Lena. Elena's cousin. A bartender at the Summit Lounge with a grudge and a lanyard. I met her in a dive off Times Square, nursing a gin and tonic, her dark curls tied back, eyes sharp as switchblades. You're Hale's black sheep, she said, sliding me a napkin sketch of the venue. Ellie's ghost says you fight dirty. I like that. We planned over greasy diner eggs. I'd pose as press. And bed with the journos. Lena spikes the drinks, nothing lethal. Just enough GHB to loosen tongues and drop guards. Tommy hacks the AV. Loops footage during Isabella's speech. The drop, Elena's manifesto. Projected worldwide. Hale's sins in high def. But contingencies breed paranoia. What if she counters? Isabella was cunning. A chameleon shedding skins. Philanthropist one day. Cutthroat the next. Her decisions? Always controversial. Firing single moms for productivity, then donating to women's shelters for PR. No one's all villain. That's what makes the hate stick. Dad worsened. Hallucinations blending boardroom battles with bedtime stories. I visited weekly. The penthouse, a mausoleum of memories. Our old dollhouse in the corner. Dust-furred. Juliet, he murmured. Hand frail in mine. Don't let her win. But don't lose yourself. Lose myself? Too late. The mirror showed a stranger. Cheekbones sharper from skipped meals. Eyes shadowed like a fugitive's. Springsteen blared from a boombox, trapped in the belly of this horrible machine.
Fitting.
The summit eve. I suited up, tailored Armani. Press badge forged flawless. The yacht. Elysium. Bobbed at Dock 72. All glass and excess. Chinese execs in bespoke mingling with diplomats. Isabella held court on the upper deck. Emerald gown flowing like venom. Toasting bridging east and west. I boarded amid the scrum. Champagne flute in hand. Recorder whirring. Lena nodded from the bar. Slipping powders into flutes. First hit, Senator Hargrove. Isabella's pet pole. Slurring trade secrets into my hidden mic. Hale's AI? It's spyware gold. Beijing pays premium. She noticed me then. Gliding over. Smile ablade. Juliet. Crashing again? How quaint. Reporting. Izzy. For the Times. Off-record chat. Her laugh tinkled. Everything's on record with you. But fine, walk with me. We paced the deck. City lights fracturing on waves. Wind whipped her hair. Mine stayed pinned. Severe. Dad's fading, she said. Voice cracking genuine? This deal saves us. Legacy intact. Saves you, I corrected. From what? The fall you pushed me into? She stopped. Railing cold underfoot. That was survival. Marcus was a hurricane. You were the eye.
Calm.
Collected. Dad's favorite. I had to. Adapt. Adapt. Euphemism for sabotage. My blood boiled. But I played cool. And now, selling out to autocrats. Business. Jewels. Not betrayal. Her eyes searched mine. A plea buried deep. Sisters. After all. Then the loop hit. Screens flickered. Isabella's face frozen mid-smile. Replaced by code cascades. Elena's voiceover. Hail profits from your pain. We are the data they devour. Gasps rippled. Execs checked phones. Stocks tanking live. Chaos erupted, security swarming. Isabella whirling. Spotting me. You bitch. She lunged. Nails raking my arm. Drawing blood. We tumbled against the rail. Her gown tearing. My badge flying. Fists flew, hers wild. Mine precise. A jab to the solar plexus from Alderson's self-defense. She wheezed, clutching pearls. Feel that, I hissed, pinning her. That's the weight you've carried for me. Now carry your own. Sirens wailed distant. Lena yelled from below. Cops inbound. I released her, staggering back. She rose, disheveled, eyes feral. This isn't over. You'll pay. I vanished into the crowd, heart pounding, salt sting on my lip. Tommy's been idled at the pier. We peeled out. UN blues flashing in rear view. Success?
Partial.
The deal cratered. Hale's shares in freefall. But Isabella spun it. Corporate espionage. Fingers pointed at me. Warrants brewing. Back in Asbury. Adrenaline crashed into dread. Dad's call came at 3 a.m. Hospital.
Now.
I drove through the night. Jersey Turnpike a blur. Rain sheeting like judgment. Mount Sinai's ICU glowed sterile. Machines beeping dirge. He was tubed. Monitors a symphony of decline. Isabella sat vigil. Makeup smudged. Holding his hand. She didn't look up. You did this. We did, I said, sinking into the chair opposite. All of us. He rallied briefly, eyes fluttering open. Girls. Forgive. Or end it. End it. His words. Or delirium. He flatlined at dawn. The room shrinking to a pinpoint. Obituaries hailed Victor Hale, Titan.
Visionary.
We buried him in Woodlawn. Under gray skies. A-listers murmuring condolences like currency. The reading was a farce. Elias droning. Isabella poised in Chanel black. But the will twisted again. To my daughters. Jointly. Hale Enterprises. Condition. Unanimous decisions. Or dissolution.
Jointly.
A handcuff disguised as harmony. She met my gaze across the table. A truce? Or trap? That night. Penthouse empty. We uncorked his favorite Macallan. Partners, she proposed. Glass raised. Partners, I echoed. But my free hand gripped the drawer handle inside. The Glock. Loaded. The quicksand deepened. Was this victory? Or just intermission? Joint stewardship was hell paved with good intentions. A boardroom thunderdome where every vote was veto. Every glance a grenade. Isabella moved back into the penthouse. Claiming family unity, her things colonizing spaces like kudzu silk robes in my closet, yoga mats unrolled in the gym. I tolerated it. Surface calm masking the storm. Mornings, we'd jog Central Park. Her ponytail swinging. Chatting mergers like co-conspirators. Juliet. The AI division. Pivot to wellness apps? Less backlash. Or shutter it. I'd counter. Breath-fogging October chill. Elena's data proves it's toxic. She'd laugh.
Deflect.
Always the moralist. Dad loved that about you.
Loved.
Past tense. A ghost in the grammar. Nights. Alone. I'd sift his old files, yellowed ledgers from the 90s flips. Notes in his scrawl. Protect Izzy. She's brittle. Brittle. The word excused everything. Her coke phases. The shopping sprees that bankrupted trust funds. The men she burned through like kindling.
Me?
Iron-willed Juliet. The fixer. No wonder I took the fall. But crack showed. Hale's stock wobbled. Vulture fund circling. Isabella pushed aggressive plays, acquiring a fintech startup with ties to her old Cayman shells. I blocked it, citing conflicts. Board meetings turned circuses, her charm offensive versus my data dumps. Executives picking sides like a divorce court. Then the leak, internal memo. My signature forged, greenlighting the acquisition. SEC audit loomed. Echoes of my prison stint. Isabella, I confronted in the executive washroom, marble echoing our breaths. This your idea of partnership? She powdered her nose. Cool as cashmere. Proof. I had none yet.
Tommy.
Back in Brooklyn. Traced the forgery to an IP in the building. Internal. Trust eroded like acid on steel. Personal fouls escalated. My run sabotaged nails in my Nikes, slicing soles. Anonymous texts. Crash soon? Echoes of that tunnel call. I changed locks. Installed cams. Footage Cotter made. But maids don't whisper death wishes. Rocco checked in. His gravel voice on a scrambled line. She's hiring hitters. Low rent. Colombians. Cheap but eager. I paid him double to intercept. The accident hit on All Hallows Eve. Cab malfunction on the Queensboro. Brakes failing midspan. I bailed at the last second, tumbling over the rail onto a barge below. Ribs screaming anew. Cops chalked it cab theft. I knew better. Convalescing in the penthouse. Painkillers blurring edges. Isabella played nurse, soups, and sympathy. Jules. This city's eating us. Sell out. Retire rich. Her eyes. Though, calculating. Weighing my breath, like shares. That night. Fever dreaming. I confessed fragments. The recording from the tunnel. Marcus's laugh. She stiffened.
Spoon pausing.
You heard that?
God.
Jules. I was wasted. Joking. Joking. The word ignited. I surged up, for tugging, grabbing her wrist. Joking gets you prison? Joking frames your sister? She wrenched free. Face crumpling, tears real? I was scared. Dad, pitting us. Always. You were golden. I was the spare.
Spare.
Like a tire. Or a life. We shattered then. Hurling heirlooms, vases from Milan exploding against walls. Dad's Rolex skittering under the couch. She screamed, You think you're saint? You leaked the AI shit. Nearly killed Hale. And you tried to kill me. The words hung.
Raw.
Truce fractured. She stormed out. To the Hamptons, I guessed, leaving me in wreckage. Tommy arrived at dawn. Medkit and laptop. She's rallying the board. Vote of no confidence. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. D-Day. I dosed ibuprofen. Suited up, bruised but unbroken. The boardroom on 55th hummed tension. Walnut table scarred from deals. Isabella entered last. Power red. Flanked by yes-men. Juliet's instability endangers us all, she opened. Slides ticking. My erratic blocks. The leaks pinned on me. I countered. Voice steady. Or Isabella's forgeries. Exhibit A. Tommy's hack projected the IP trail, straight to her assistant's desk. Gasps, she blanched. Stammering. Fabricated. The vote split 5-5. Deadlock. Dissolution loomed, Hale carved up by lawyers. We adjourned to chaos. Execs fleeing like rats. In the elevator descent, she cornered me, heels pinning my foot. You win this round. But Dad's codicil, incapacity. Careful, sister. Threat? Or warning? The doors dinged open to lobby bustle. Paparazzi flashbulbs blinding. Hale's sister's feud, screamed the feeds. I vanished into the subway, ironic. Heiress on the F train, emerging in Brooklyn's grit. Tommy's warehouse loft. Pizza boxes and server hum. What's next? Boss. Next, flip the board. I called in favors Elena's network. Privacy activists seeding doubt. Protests erupted outside Hale HQ. Data rapists, chants echoing canyons. Stock plunged 15%. Isabella's counter. Oppressor. Tearful. Family strife. But united forward. United.
Lie.
Her assistant flipped next. Conscience or cash, Rocco's touch. Testified to the forgeries. Immunity deal. Feds swarmed again. This time her office. Cuffs clicked on CNN. Her mug wide-eyed. I watched from a bar in Park Slope. IPA bitter. Victory soured. Dad's empire in tatters. His name synonymous with sleaze. Was this justice? Or just jealous spite? She called from holding. Voice tinny. Bail me, Jules. Please. For him. I hung up. But sleep evaded. Ghosts whispering. No one's all right. Bail was $1 billion joke. Hale's coffers drained by lawsuits. But I scraped it. Liquidating art from the penthouse. Basquiat screaming silent from the auction block. Isabella emerged pale. Paparazzi a gauntlet she navigated with rehearsed poise. Sliding into the waiting town car. Me behind the wheel symbolic. The driver now the driven. Home, she asked. Voice small. Not yet. I veered toward the West Side Highway. Skyline mocking our fall. Traffic crawled. Horns a urban requiem. We talk. Real. The spot. An abandoned pier in Red Hook. Warehouses hulking like forgotten gods. East River lapping secrets. We walked the planks. Wind keening. Her Louboutins wobbling. Jules. The feds. It's perjury if I flip on you. But what? I stopped. Facing her. Gulls wheeling overhead. She lit a cigarette. Marlboro Red. Dad's vice. Exhaling smoke like confession. The frame job. 10 years back. Wasn't just me. Dad knew. Marcus pushed. But Vic signed off. Needed a clean break for IPO. You were. Expendable. Expendable. The word detonated. Shards embedding deep. My own father? Tears tracked her mascara. He regretted it. The will, that codicil? Insurance. For you to rise if I cracked.
Cracked.
Brittle Isabella.
Porcelain princess.
I laughed.
Hollow.
And you? Cracking now. She flicked the butt into the drink. Maybe. Or maybe I'm done playing spare. Her hand extended.
Tentative.
COSOS? For real. Rebuild. The quicksand pulled. Forgive. Or finish. Her eyes held the girl from forts, but layered with the woman who'd wished my wreck. I clasped. Brief. Trial run. Back in the penthouse. Tentative thaw. Shared meals. Takeout tie on the terrace. Plotting Hale's Phoenix. We shuttered the AI arm. Donated code to open source. PR Gold. Ethics Halo. Stock ticked up. Press cooed Sister Act 2. Redemption. But trust? Tissue thin. Tommy monitored her comms. Late night calls to a burner. Coded lingo. Asset secured. Phase 2. Asset.
Me?
I confronted over breakfast. Bagels and lox uneaten. Who's the burner? Izzy. She blinked. Innocent. Therapist. Post-dad stress.
Lies.
I tailed her that afternoon, weaving through Midtown throng to a nondescript cafe on 57th. She met a man, Silver Fox. Bespoke. Face familiar. Elias Crow. Dad's lawyer. Eavesdropping from a booth. Coffee cold. The codicil stands, he murmured. Incapacitate her. Accident. Incapacity claim. Shares yours. Plot twist. She was playing me still. Codicil as cudgel. Heart fracturing. I slipped out. Nausea roiling. Rocco on speed dial. Confirm. Hit on me? Affirmative. Low-key, pills in your wine. Suicide note. Suicide. Poetic. Twisted. I prepped countermeasures. Alibis layered. Safe deposit keys to evidence vaults. The attempt came subtle. Our reconciliation dinner. Steak au poivre and Bordeaux. She poured. Hands steady. Smile soft. To us. I sipped. Palate detecting the bitter undertang belladonna trace. Untraceable in autopsy. I feigned a sip. Dumped the rest in the ficus when she turned.
Delicious, I lied.
Mid-meal. The crash, I slumped. Theatrical, eyes rolling. Fork clattering. She panicked, calling 911. But I revived en route, mumbling. What happened? Doctors puzzled. Possible stroke. Stress. Discharged. I played frail. Bedridden. She doted soups. Stories guilt-gnawing? Or gloating? Night 3. I rose. Glock in grip. Padding to her room. Door ajar. Moonlight silvering her form. Tangled sheets. Phone glowing. Text to Elias. Failed. Abort? I chambered around. Click echoing. She bolted up. Gasp sharp. Jules? What? End it, I said. Barrel steady. Dad's words. Weaponized. She scrambled back. Pillows barricade. Wait. I didn't. Elias pushed. I backed out. Backed out. Too late? Her sobs cracked the facade. I'm sorry. For the crash wish. The frame. Everything. You're the strong one. Always were.
Strong.
Or scarred. The gun trembled, my hand. Not hers. Controversial choice. Pull trigger. Claim self-defense? Or holster? Risk the snake strike? I lowered it. Spent casing of rage. One chance. Confess. All of it. She did. Dawn bleeding in. Dad's complicity. Marcus's greed. Her jealousy a cancer. Taped it. Tommy uploading to secure cloud. Leverage eternal. But the twist coiled deeper. Morning news. Elias dead. Heart attack in his sauna. Autopsy pending. Her eyes met mine over coffee. You? I shrugged. Karma?
No.
Rocco's work. Prepaid. Clean hands.
Mine.
Hale stabilized. Sisters united in headlines. Yet tension hummed. A live wire. Was forgiveness facade? Or fracture healed? Winter clamped New York in iron. Snow muffling sins.
But not the grind.
Hale rebounded, rebranded as Hale Horizon, green tech facade over old bones. Isabella and I tag-team TEDx invites. Our duo act selling redemption like snake oil. From feud to fusion, the tagline, audiences lapping applause. Behind curtains,
Though.
the board seethed, purges left vacancies. Fill with our picks, Elena as CTO. Tommy's bots sniffing irregularities. Isabella softened. Or seemed. Movie nights in the screening room. Rom-coms and popcorn. Her head on my shoulder like kids. Missed this. Jules.
Missed.
Selective memory. I'd catch her staring at the codicil facsimile. Framed now as Dad's wisdom. Fingers tracing incapacity. Paranoia my constant. A low hum. The fracture widened at the holiday gala. Rockefeller tree aglow. Elites toasting eggnog futures. I mingled, schmoozing a venture capitalist with wind farm dreams, when Isabella pulled me aside, breath hot with champagne. Elias's death, Rocco? I played dumb.
Who?
Her nails dug elbow. Don't. I know your shadows. But if we're clean.
Clean.
The word chafed. Post-gala. In the limo crawl. She dropped the bomb. I'm pregnant. Pregnant. Silence thickened. Horns blaring outside. Marcus's? I finally choked. She nodded. Hand on belly non-existent yet. Frozen. IVF. His last gift.
Gift.
Or grenade. Heir to muddy the will. A hail scion to sway shares. Congratulations, I managed. Throat tight. Her smile fractured. It changes things. Stability for the baby. Changes. The codicil loomed larger. Infant as incapacity lever. I retreated to the penthouse bar. Pouring meat bourbon. Ice clinking judgment. Tommy texted. Burner active. Cayman calls. Caymans. Old ghosts. I hired a PI. Ex-NYPD with a nose for offshore rot. Dug up clinic records. No IVF. Embryo theft?
No, adoption scam.
Surrogacy fronts laundering funds. Isabella. Birthing an empire built on lies. Confrontation brewed over New Year's. Fireworks bursting over the terrace like false hopes. The baby's fake, I accused. Prosecco uncorked but untouched. She deflated.
Gown pooling.
Leverage.
For us.
If the board pushes dissolution. A heir buys time.
Us.
Or her. And if I dissolve. Eyes hardened. Then you're the villain. Again.
Villain.
The mirror cracked further. I walked out. Snow crunching under boots. Hailing a cab to Asbury. Waves crashed fury. I burned the codicil in the fireplace. Ashes scattering like betrayed trust. Spring thawed plots. Elena's innovations bloomed. Ethical AI. Privacy first. Earning grants and goodwill. Isabella shone in maternity cosplay. No bump but binders of prenatal plans. Press aided. Hail heir on horizon. My move. Leak the scam to Vanity Fair. Anonymous source. The faux fetus. Isabella Hale's desperate gambit. Scandal rippled. Talk shows dissecting. Ethicists decrying. She called. Voice venom. You gutted me. For what? Spite. Truth. I shot back. You taught me that. She hung up. But not before. Watch your back. Baby or not. The hit came pedestrian. Jaywalker accident in Chelsea. SUV mounting curb. I dodged. Twisting ankle. But the driver? A hired muscle. License to a ghost corp. Rocco intervened. Van sideswiping the threat into a hydrant. Getting sloppy, he growled over burner. She's escalating. Escalating. To what? Tommy uncovered the endgame. Board proxy fight. Her allies bought with Cayman cash. Vote in 2 weeks. Control or collapse. I countered ruthless. Whistleblower flood. Elena's testimony to Congress on data sins. Hearings televised. Isabella grilled remote. Sweating under Klieg's. Personal attacks won't erase progress, she spun. Progress. Subjective as sin. The vote day dawned muggy. Boardroom a pressure cooker. Proxies piled. Hers 48%.
Mine 47%.
One swing. Old-timer Hargrove. Her senator pal. He abstained. Ethical concerns.
Thai. Dissolution automatic. Hale okşışın piyecemel.
She cracked then. Post-meeting. In the ladies' lounge. Sobs echoing off tile. We built this. Dad's dream. Dad's nightmare. I said.
Door clicking shut.
You poisoned it. Her head snapped up. Mascara rivers. And you? Saint Juliet. Avenging angel? You're as broken as me. Broken. Truth stung. We circled. Feral, her shoving. Me blocking. Tumbling into sinks. Faucets gushed. She grabbed a shard from a shattered mirror. Glass glinting threat. Ended here. I disarmed her. Wrist twist from prison yard.
No.
You end. She dropped it, shattering further. I confess. All frame. Leaks. Hits. Tape me. I did. Phone rolling. But as words spilled, regrets raw, childhood wounds aired, a pang, not monster.
Just mirrored me.
Jealousy twins. Upload paused. Mercy? Or mistake? Dissolution was a slow bleed. Lawyers carving hail like a Thanksgiving turkey. AI to Google. Real estate to REITs. Scraps to us sisters in equal shares. Penthouse sold. Proceeds split. We decamped to separate fronts. I to a loft in Dumbo. Views of bridges spanning divides. She to a co-op in the village. Anonymous amid artists. No contact pact. Enforced by mutual NDAs. But New York small, bumped at Whole Foods. Eyes sliding past like strangers. Freedom tasted ash. My cut funded Horizon Ethics, a consultancy auditing core for data sins, ironic penance. Elena partnered. Her fire-forging clients. Nonprofits first. Then wary techies seeking absolution. Success crept. Ted Slott. Book deal whispers. But nights. The loft echoed. Ghosts of Isabella's laugh. Dad's Scotch breath. She fared spottier. Isabella Hale Ventures, boutique fund for women founders. But scandals clung. Investors fleeing, reputation risk. Paparazzi caught her tabloid dives. Arm in arm with a B-list actor. Bottle blonde and brittle smile. Tommy monitored loose. Sober streak broken. Therapy notes hacked. Suicidal ideation. Ideation. Echoes of Marcus's suicide. Guilt gnawed my leaks. The unrelenting pressure. Call her? No, pact held. Wounds raw. Summer sweltered. A heat wave cracking the city. I keynote at TechCrunch disrupt. Stage lights searing. Crowd a sea of ambition. Ethics isn't optional, it's oxygen. Applause thundered. Backstage. A note slipped under door. Proud of you.
Cease. I. Proud.
The dam cracked. I texted burner to burner. Coffee? Neutral ground. The spot. Washington Square Arch. Park pulsing with buskers and frisbees. She arrived in sundress.
No makeup.
Lines etching her face like fault lines. Jewels. We walked. Benches avoided, too intimate. Ventures tanking, she admitted. Pigeons scattering. Investors smell blood. Blood you spilled. I said.
But soft.
Mine first. She nodded.
No deflection.
Therapy's peeling layers.
Dad.
He favored you because I reminded him of Mom.
Flighty.
Gone.
Mom.
Cancer at 40. Leaving us to Victor's stern love. You were the anchor he needed, she continued. I was the wave.
Wave.
Destructive, but vital. We sat finally. Fountain mist cooling. The baby hoax stupid. Desperate. Forgiven. The word escaped. Vulnerable. She squeezed my hand. Trying. Rebuild tentative. Join advisory for Horizon. Her networks feeding my ethics audits. Press sniffed reunion. Hail sisters, from rivals to redeemers. Cynics scoffed. But checks cleared. Fall foliage turned Central Park fiery. We jogged again. Breaths sinking. Laughter crept. Old stories.
Minus Babs.
Remember the treehouse heist? She gasped. Leaves crunching. Swiped his Rolex for pirate gold. I grinned.
Genuine.
But shadows lingered. Tommy's ping. Elias's files unsealed. Dad's codicil. Forgery.
Forgery.
Elias's hand? Or hers? I buried it. Trust fragile bloom. Thanksgiving loomed. I hosted. Loft strung with lights. Turkey from Zabbers. Elena and Tommy mingled awkward. Her dissecting his hacks. Him blushing. Isabella arrived last. Pie in arms. Eyes wary. Family? Try, I echoed. Dinner flowed, tales. Toasts. Wine loosening tongues. Post-feast. Dishes soaking. We balcony sat. City twinkling below. Missed this, she murmured. Me too. Honesty. Hard one. Midnight. Her phone buzzed, ignored. But dawn brought the call. Voss Security. Her old firm. MS.
Hale?
Your sister's compromised. Data breach. Horizon files to dark web. Compromised. My files?
No, hers.
Ventures books.
Cooked again.
Embezzlement echoes. She confronted. I storm. You? Swear. But doubt seeded Tommy's access. My grudges. Investigation. Trailed to her own assistant. Grudge fueled.
Clean.
Relief. But rift widened. Paranoia again? She snapped. Survival, I countered. Winter returned. Colder. Holiday cards exchanged. Then silence. New Year's. Alone. Fireworks mocked unity. Spring unearthed the grave. Elena's audit on ventures, irregularities.
Shells too. Me? No, framd.
My name on transfers. It wasn't. Isabella pleaded over frantic call. Someone's pitting us. Again.
Pitting.
Dad's ghost. Or new player. Board holdout. Revenge for lost fortunes. We met neutral. Neutral ground a myth. Dumbo warehouse. Neutral as fog. Accusations flew. Tears mixed with rage. I let you in, she cried. And I trusted. Fist connected cheek. Not hard. But symbolic. Then the shot outside. Not in. Rocco bursting. Ambush. Get down. Chaos. Gunfire peppering brick. Vossmerks?
No, fasle sweets. Pro.
We fled through alleys. Heart-hammering tandem. Safe house Asbury. Barricaded. Breaths ragged. Who? She gasped. Ghosts, I said. Ours. Truce reforged in fire. Join hunt. Tommy tracing bullets to a holdout. Hargrove. The abstainer. Buying mercs for payback. Climax brewed. Confrontation is yacht. Legacy. Off Montauk. We boarded dusk. Armed me Glock. Her taser from self-defense class. Hargrove in cabin. Scotch swilling.
Smug. Hale bitches.
Empire's mine now. Fight brutal. Him lunging. Bottle shattering. Isabella tasering. Me wrestling gun. Shot fired. Grazed her arm. Blood blooming. I fired true. Leg wound. Not kill. Cops boarded dawn. Hargrove cuffed. Spilling on accomplices. Victory Pyrrhic, scars added. In the ER. Stitches sewing. She gripped my hand. We make a team. Team. Battered. But bonded? Summer healed slow. Scars fading to silver threads. Hers on arm. Mine deeper. Horizon thrived. Absorbing ventures viable scraps. We co-led. Decisions democratic. Vetoes rare. Media mythologized. The Hale Redemption Saga. Miniseries whispers from Netflix. We demurred. Focusing forward, philanthropy real now. Scholarships for Alderson alums. Data rights lobbying in D.C. But the twist lurked. Insidious as ivy. Fall equinox. Board retreat in the Adirondacks. Lodge logs crackling. Lake Mirror calm. Toasts to new era. Isabella pregnant for real. This time, adopted embryo. Ethical. Her glow genuine. Aunt Jules, she teased.
Hand on swell. Aunt.
The word warmed. Thawed final ice. Nights. Stargazing decks. Weed unspool. Childhood hurts aired. Dad's favoritism dissected like autopsy. He broke us to build, she mused. Or thought he spared. I countered. Forgiveness. Not absolution. The call came mid-retreat. Tommy. Voice edged. Codicil, real analysis. Dad's hand. But dated wrong. Post-prison.
Post-prison.
After my stint. When he forgave. Insurance? Or indictment. Incapacitate Isabella. Knowing her cracks. She overheard. Face ashen. He planned my fall.
Ours.
The revelation fractured anew. Victor. Puppeteer ultimate. Pitting daughters for tough love. Empire test. Rage unified. We torched the codicil anew. Lake pyre. Ashes dissolving like lies. Our legacy now, she declared. Winter solstice.
Birth. Boy.
Named Victor James, VJ. Fresh start. I held him first. Tiny fist clutching finger. Eyes blue like hers. Green flicks mine. Hospital hums soothing. Monitors beeping hope. Outpatient. Life normalized. Diaper runs to Dwayne Reed. Nanny vetted triple. Isabella mothered fierce. Vulnerabilities bared, no more masks. Me, godmother. Guardian in shadows. But controversy crowned. New York Times expose. Whistleblower, Hargrove's mole. Alleging our redemption PR stunt. Buried sins resurfacing. Protests at Horizon HQ.
Hale Hippocrates. Chance.
Board wavered. We faced the storm joint presser. Rain lashing windows. We've sinned, Isabella admitted. Voice steady. Sisters.
Flawed.
But changing. I echoed. Justice isn't perfection. It's persistence. Crowd split, some jeers. Some cheers. Sides chosen. Debate raging. Villains reformed. Or vipers rebranded. No clear right. Gray as city smog. The end? Open. We parented VJ. Tandem. Park picnics and bedtime tales sans betrayal. Trust rebuilt. Brick by vigilant brick. But late nights. Glock in nightstand. I wonder, one slip. Does the blade resharpen? Isabella whispers dreams now. not death wishes. I believe, mostly. Revenge's arc bends, but doesn't break clean. In America, winners write histories, but losers? They haunt the footnotes. And in ours, we're both. Twist, that tunnel call? I recorded it wrong, Marcus's voice. But Isabella's laugh absent. She never said it. Jealousy mine. Projected. A decade's war on whispers.
Debate that.
Reader, was I Avenger? Or architect of our hell? No heroes here, just Hales. Human as the hurt.